Welcome back, Monster Wranglers. Yesterday we've looked at and learned how to synthesize the most advanced and powerful magic in Dragon Quest monsters, and today we'll continue by learning how to synthesize down the final attack-based talent tree for your physical monsters, called Hair Splitter. This video is kind of a mini-series of going through all of the highest level talent trees and how to synthesize them, so if you're interested in the others, make sure to take a look at them on my channel. So just like Perfect Speller was the highest level and final talent tree for casters in Dragon Quest monsters, Hair Splitter is its physical or attacker equivalent, and it's the talent tree you should try to unlock for your highest attack-based monsters if you want good damage, but you've been wondering why your attackers are somewhat weaker. Well, they also need good talent trees, and just getting attack booster isn't enough. Hair Splitter will include most of the largest hitting attack-based abilities in the game, and while it is the final synthesis for this tree, it isn't the most powerful one in the very end, not entirely because it is missing skills, but because these abilities cost a ridiculous amount of MP, and because when you are min-maxing, you will want the best skills available accompanied by some bonus stats in the talent trees instead of a bunch of filler abilities that you will likely just ignore anyway. Regardless, the Hair Splitter tree does include Gigagash and Gigacross, both super powerful attack abilities that are worth synthesizing and are traditionally the iconic endgame abilities for warriors, but according to Japanese players and sources, the best physical skill against a single target is the Sword Dance skill from the Overkilling machine. You can see the skill tree is accompanied by 2 stat bonuses, which might not seem like much but still matter. Not to mention Sword Dance is a significantly cheaper ability than Gigacross. Still, in this video we are here to learn about advanced synthesis, so let's talk about Hair Splitter. If you watched the previous guide on how to create Perfect Speller for magical users, you should have a very good picture about how this is going to look like. It is very similar, but a lot easier than Perfect Speller was, as it requires less overall synthesizing and upgrading than its magical variant. As before, you can find high-quality versions of these synthesis charts on my Twitter page, Hazmy, so follow me there for synthesis charts and future Dragon Quest content. So as you can immediately see, this synthesis chart is a lot shorter, as one step is completely skipped compared to creating Perfect Speller, as the physical talent trees do not have an upgraded version, but can be combined into pairs from the get-go. Additionally, the process is also a lot simpler, considering there are no pairings anymore like Polarizer and Impactor. Instead, you just have to fuse together 2 elements of your choice and work your way up from there. Starting from the beginning, there are 4 elemental fighting talents: Spicy Slasher, Blowy Slasher, Soggy Slasher, and Stony Slasher, and despite their connection to various elements, they are attack-based abilities, so you do not need wisdom for scaling them, just focus on your attack. I've listed a few very easy to scout monsters in the very first worlds of the game so you can find them easily, and the base recipe is pretty much just to combine any 2 different elements through synthesis, and they'll be sufficient for our goals. Just make sure they aren't exact duplicates. You can see I still use Spicy Slasher in both synthesis, but as long as the other elements are different, the final result will differ, and that is all that matters. The product talent tree will depend on the elements you've used, so Fire and Water became Freezer Burner for me, and Wind and Fire became Air Fryer, both of them including the proper elemental-based skills with other unique mid-range attack skills, but keep in mind these attack-based skills are still dealing elemental damage, which is also another reason why skills like Sword Dance is useful, since it's physical damage. Now, your paired elemental talents will both max out on 200 points, and once you've leveled them all up, upon synthesizing them together, you should be seeing Hair Splitter in your list of talents, which is the final synthesis for this whole talent tree. If you do have the sufficient amount of MP to back up these abilities, Hair Splitter can be very powerful, especially that Gigacross scales with your monster levels too, but you can understand now why this skill tree might not be the meta min-max option, at least, as 80 MP for a single attack is outrageous, while abilities like Sword Dance from the Maniac tree only costs 15 MP each cast. So that is the process on how to create the, let's call it, final synthesis tree for attack skills, but we definitely cannot call it the most powerful one here, considering the poor MP versus damage ratio, unfortunately, and for min-maxing you should get yourself Maniac from the Overkilling machine that I also have a guide for on how to synthesize. Thank you once again for joining in another episode of my synthesis guides, everyone. Hope you enjoyed it, and while I have somewhat warned against using Hair Splitter, I still recommend trying it out, as the spells themselves are super fun, and at least personally, I'm not much of a meta addict and much prefer to choose abilities that I love for their looks. Thank you for watching. If you're interested in more guides for Dragon Quest, like and subscribe to the channel, as there's a lot more coming. But that is it for today. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you the next time.